Back with you tonight on In Focus. Thanks for staying on. Let's begin here now. Gauteng police today honoured the 10 officers who lost their lives in the line of duty of the past year. The province accounts for the most number of officers killed in the line of duty. And for more on this, we're joined now by Deputy Gauteng Commissioner of Police, Fred Kekana. Major General, good to have you, and thank you very much for coming on this evening. When we look at the numbers, even released the first quarter 2024-2025 numbers, Gauteng seems to come up as one of the major contributors to serious crime. How do you respond to that question that says, as a province, we have become an apex of serious crime?
All right. Thanks very much, Thabo, and thanks for this opportunity. Firstly, let me indicate, I think you have just noted the recent crime statistics that have been released. Yeah, with the volume of crime, Gauteng, yes, contribute a large chunk. But countrywide, if you check the last quarter of financial year, from April 2023 up to March 2024, out of 17 serious community-reported crimes, Gauteng decreased 12. And the first quarter of this financial year, from 1st April up to the end of June this year, out of 17 high community-reported crimes, Gauteng reduced 16 of those crimes. And that's an indication to say we are hard at work. And all efforts and means that are in place, including plans and strategies, are bearing positive fruits, because any reduction, it's positive to us. And what we appreciate is the support we get from all government departments in the justice cluster, our provincial government, with the resources and support when it comes to certain equipment and even resources, which as subs alone we couldn't. And our partners, like private security companies through the E2 projects, the Eyes and Ears projects, they come on board. We work together to ensure our community policing forum and the structures that are there, from the business forums that are in place. We work together. And every plan, every operation, and every initiative that is in place to combat crime in Gauteng, it's integrated. We are not people on our own.
Would agree with you to an extent. I mean, we look at, for example, this weekend, the heist that was foiled in Germiston, and the police retaliating there.
Yesterday.
With heavy force. But I mean, they look at that and they say the question that yes, there's a measure of improvement, even in the murder rate, which would have decreased 7.3%. Overall, though, the contribution is still pretty much high. And lawmakers, politicians are saying your crime prevention measures are not effective enough to safeguard the residents of the province. So they're saying there's one, not enough resolve, but two, there is not enough strategic approach.
As I indicated when I started, out of 17 community-reported crimes, reducing 16, and it said they are not working. I don't know what is working.
So because the measure, you don't say the overall contribution. I mean, highest contribution to contact crimes in the country. Gauteng accounts there for 26.3%.
Yes.
So 11 out of 30 police stations where incidences are reported are here in this province.
That's correct, yes. And they used to be 16 out of 30, top 30. They used to be 16. Now it's 4 less. 5 less police stations. And I can assure the residents of Gauteng to say, working with the police, taking responsibility in your own environment, starting with street committees, block committees, as residents, it's also a positive recipe to crime combating, because police on their own, without the community working with them, without the community taking also initiatives amongst them, not allowing criminal activities or criminality happening in your place, and you look sideways.
Yeah.
You don't take action, you don't report. Some you know who they are, some you see, some you suspect. It's expected that anything which you see, this one, it's suspicious. It can be your neighbor, it can be your brother, it can be your friend.
Yeah.
Report to the law enforcement. And that's where we start. And that's where also the difference will come, because that suspicion, as a person who knows your territory, might bear fruit. There might be firearms, there might be stolen goods, there might be hijacked vehicles,
Yeah.
there might be hijacked trucks with goods in there, there might be drugs, there might be firearms, there might even be human trafficking. The only important thing, let's work together. Report any suspicious movements or things, and work with the law enforcement. Work as a collective within the community environment and ensure it starts with you.
Yes.
Don't allow anything that make you uncomfortable as a resident. Share with other residents, work with other residents, talk to each other,
Okay.
and know your neighbor, know each other.
Others are making it as simple as, if the police, for example, talking to us today in Gauteng, were able to get just the basics right, they'll be able to fight crime. So others are saying they are low-hanging fruits, like broken vehicles. Fix your vehicles, fill vacancies, do proper training. They're saying these are some of the basic things that are missing right now.
Yeah, there is constant in-service training going on. All members go for basic police training, and if now they are placed at specific specialist or different environments, I'll give example of detectives.
Yeah.
A member come from the college, he work in the community service center, he learn how policing work, and then we take that member, we place in the detective component. We don't just leave that member there. We take that member to a detective academy for training in detective responsibilities, expectations. And beside that, there is also advanced further courses where we work with other institutions, including business and private institutions. They normally come on board, or we approach them. They come and assist and contribute in enhancing the skills, for example, in fraud and extraordinary courses. Time to time, internally, members are taken for courses, domestic violence-related courses, child justice courses, Child Act, customer service courses, to improve and enhance service delivery and to ensure that at all times we render a professional service. It's constant. On a month-to-month, units and police stations, they hold what you call station lecture.
Okay.
That's where every month members are sensitized of new developments and even things that are negative, although they might not necessarily be happening in that police station, but sensitized in terms of general conduct, expectations as an institution to say, this is how you must speak to people, this is how you must answer the telephone, this is how you must behave when you engage with communities. Even if in some cases it's difficult, you go out, being honest to serve, you meet those people that are angry with themselves or through other things. You must just be content, be humble, and act still being respectful, and not be taken by emotions.
Right.
And members, time to time, they are undergoing that.
Yes.
And beside that...
Are the police equipped in situations like that? For example, I mean, we are seeing, maybe not in as much a number here in the Gauteng province, but we are seeing in other provinces, suspects being killed in confrontation with the police. Are there measures being put in place to equip police to respond to, as you're saying, there are some criminals that are now beginning to be a little bit more aggressive, going through a whole lot of issues?
All right, let me just first start by saying in South African Police Service, we have a safety strategy, police safety strategy that it's encompass safety of the environment. It can be the buildings, the vehicles, the members themselves. In Gauteng, we have 145 police stations. At each and every police station, we appointed a police safety coordinator.
Okay.
And at each and every district, provincial and even national, we established committees. Those coordinators' responsibilities and duties, it's amongst others, to ensure that constantly they sensitize relief commanders, shift commanders, and members. Beside the day-to-day responsibility of shift commanders, when members report on duty, there is parades held to check that the members are sober, properly dressed, properly equipped. Properly equipped, you mean they must have their handcuffs, they must have their firearms, they must wear their bulletproofs, and if it's night shift, they must have their torches. Vehicles they drive in terms of occupational health and safety, they must have lights, they must be roadworthy. Those that are marked, they must have blue lights, and blue lights must working. And members going out, they must have, those vehicles must have radios, and the members themselves must have hand radios for communication purposes. And time to time, during those parades, that's where we sensitize them, remind them of them being vigilant, alert at all times, and knowing the environment. Because in some cases, they are called to attend to complaints while it's an ambush, to distract them or to cause harm to them or even to take their firearms. They are constantly sensitized.
Okay.
Yes.
The commissioner saying, the provincial commissioner saying that anybody thinking of doing crime in the province, we are ready to take them head on. In fact, he says, we will meet them on the streets. What does he mean by that?
Yeah, no, we were together. If you noted on TV, we were together. Yeah. Amongst other things is that we cannot co-govern with criminals. And I hear in some cases, some will say, police matched the criminals. Yeah. We are not in competition with criminals. We don't have to match them. They don't have to exist. You commit a crime, cells, that's where you belong, you face justice. When police want to do their job to arrest you so that you face justice, and you think you can evade justice by raising a firearm or anything that can cause harm or danger to officers, they know what to do. They are trained, and they don't have to blink an eye to ensure that they protect themselves, their lives, and lives of other people. Right. Therefore, we don't have time, and will not even have time for criminals to think that they can challenge the police. Yeah. They challenge. That's what you saw yesterday in Jim's thing. That's what will be coming every day, every time, everywhere. And we will not compromise, because our safety first, safety of the community, law-abiding community saved. But criminals, they don't deserve to be within the space where law-abiding people and human beings live. Yes. Criminals deserve to be somewhere else. Yeah. And somewhere else, it depends how they behave when police approach them to take them in for justice. Okay. But immediately when they try to challenge, where in such a way they, either through firearms or anything that can cause harm, they will get and greet their maker.
And does political leadership affect you in any way in how you do your job? Because some in the province who are in the opposition benches would have said, look, this strategy of confiding the community policing portfolio in the Premier's office is a problem. We need a well-qualified MEC for police that is going to be able to help take the strategy for fighting crime forward. Now, of course, we have a very unique situation where the subs report nationally, but you've also some competencies that fall within the province.
No, politicians are lawmakers. We are administrators and executors. Therefore, whatever politicians do, irrespective of whatever qualification, as long as that political leader is placed in a position of responsibility, irrespective who it is, we don't care. We care about what is our responsibility and what is expected of us. What is expected of us to do our job. Whether the Premier is in charge of a department or is not in charge, doesn't matter to us. What matters is what is expected of us, and we do and execute to the best we can.
Now, you've mentioned the incorporation of private security, community, you see crime, tell crime, and so on and so forth. But there is a question around how you are incorporating advanced technologies in the fight against crime, especially in the province.
Yes. Yeah, in Gauteng, fortunately, amongst other things we trained 13 members to be drone pilots. And through the working collaboration with the provincial government and private security companies, that was possible. And it's working because that's part of technology that we use. Amongst other things, there is various systems which we use, technological systems when we use, or when we do investigative technique. Some of them are subtle, some of them are of such a nature that we use them through following the process of court, granting us authority and permission to access, but we are on top of the game. The crime will not survive through the collaboration, and crime will not get rooted under our watch with all the collaborative existence of other structures, including private institutions that support us, that work with us. Where we can reach out, we go to those partners to say, as police, we go up to here. They come in to supplement as we work together for one common goal, crime combating.
Now, I started off, of course, by citing that today was the day where you were commemorating 10 of your members who would have lost their lives in the line of duty. When you look at those kinds of numbers, and not just in Gauteng and everywhere else, what is the primary cause of this?
Out of 10 of those we lost in Gauteng, it's 5 constables, 4 sergeants, and 1 warrant officer. 1 constable was on duty doing crime prevention, stop and search. A truck came and unfortunately drove over that poor, our constable, a 27-year-old, and he lost his life. And 9 of other members, all of them were brutally murdered. In all cases, firearms were used. And some were doing investigation, some were attending to complaints, some were doing patrols, some stopped vehicles to search them. For example, the one in Mabopane where 3 members stopped the vehicle, there were 5 occupants. Just when they allied, they approached that vehicle, they started shooting at them. And 1 was fatally wounded, 2 were injured and taken to hospital. And all this, our members were doing it to serve the country, to ensure that the community is safe, to ensure that our country is rid of crime. But unfortunately, you still have these heartless, ruthless criminals out there whose business is just to cause harm to the community and law enforcement. And that, it's heartbreaking because those members are fathers, brothers, uncles. Some of them, their children were 2 years, some were 1 year.
Sure.
And it's sad, but we know as police, we took an oath to to serve, despite the challenges and even the dangers that we might face day to day, because we are the ones who must ensure the community is protected.
Yeah.
And somebody must do this job. And we took that oath knowing very well that some of the challenges that's why we say from time to time members are sensitized. No one must dare raise a hand or arm or anything that can cause harm to anyone, not only members, to the community themselves. It's our duty to protect,
yes,
and it's our duty to go all out with everything we have to ensure that we protect the lives, the property of every inhabitant in the county.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate, in that process, we lose our members, gallantly so, because they are there to serve, not cowardice, but doing and responding to the call of duty.
Deputy Gauteng Commissioner for Police, Fred Kekana, we appreciate your time and thank you very much for coming on and your intervention tonight. Right, let's take a break. We'll update you on your leading stories in a moment. Stay with us.